Hey dolls, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be creating this entire look with one of my favorite drugstore brands, e.l.f. Cosmetics. I've been using e.l.f. since all of their line was like in their white packaging, and that was back then when I would say like their most expensive product was maybe like $4. So I have been a diehard e.l.f. consumer. For a very long time, all I could afford was drugstore makeup, and a lot of the times I would navigate towards the e.l.f. section because it was one of the cheaper brands. So I was very excited to film this video for you guys. I don't want to ramble on too much, but if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to be starting off with... I'm thinking I'm going to do my brows and my eyes first, just in case that the shadows have fallout. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and apply the e.l.f. Active Hydrating Stick all over my face since I am more dry right now because of the weather. Although it's not like super cold in Southern California, it's definitely like my skin is feeling the change. I'm going to go ahead and just apply the hydrating stick all over my skin. This is part of their active line. I've tried it, but I haven't tried it at the gym, so I can't really tell you like, oh yeah, you know, perfect for when you work out. Although I am starting to get back into the gym, and as you guys can tell, I've been breaking out a lot, and that's not normal for me. But I am definitely making a lot of changes to my diet and cutting out gluten and just trying to figure out what is going on with my stomach. So yeah, my skin is definitely feeling the changes. The hydrating stick feels nice on the skin, but I almost want to say it feels like a tiny bit greasy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let that soak in. We're gonna go ahead and do our brows and then move on to the eyes. And for the brows, I'm gonna be using this pomade, lock-on liner, and brow cream. I'm using the shade medium brown. This has been, it's definitely dried out, but this has been such a ride or die for me for like ever. All I'm gonna do is add some Inglot Duraline into it just to kind of reactivate it so that it actually works. I just realized I didn't grab any brushes. My bad. Yeah, but definitely if you're at the store and you're looking for a drugstore affordable brow product, I would definitely recommend the pot from e.l.f. Cosmetics. It's really good. If you guys are curious on how I fill in my brows, I do have an updated brow tutorial, so I'll go ahead and link that up above or down in the description box for you guys. So if you have not seen that video, make sure that you go and check it out. Now that my brows are filled in, I'm just going to go ahead and prime my eyelids. I'm just going to be using this primer in the shade Sheer, and I'm just going to be applying this all over my eyelid. Nothing special. And just blending that in using my e.l.f. sponge. And you guys, this sponge is so incredibly soft. Like, I can't even describe the feeling. Like, it almost doesn't feel like a regular makeup sponge. It kind of feels softer. If you come across it, definitely pick it up. It's really good. So now that we are primed, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the eyeshadow palette. This is in the shade Matte for Plum. And it is in their old, how would you say it? In their old packaging. If you guys have used e.l.f. for a long time, you would know that they started off with like their range between like $1, $2, and $3 type of thing. Well, this palette was $2 if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the top color, and I'm going to use that to set the entire primer in place. Next, with the same fluffy brush, I'm just going to go ahead into the plum color of the palette. And I don't know how intense it's going to show up, so I'm definitely just going to put that into the crease, and I'm going to slowly build the color. So there's definitely no like difficulties in blending the shadow. I am actually just going to use this plum shade in my crease and then just an accent color all over my lid. But overall, I mean, there's no like crazy fallout down here or like difficulty in blending. And this little palette was $2. So if you've never tried e.l.f, you are definitely sleeping on them because a lot of their stuff is super good. Next, I'm going to be taking this, I think they're called like eyeshadow pots or something, but this is in the shade Soiree. I definitely can't pronounce the name of it, so I'm going to put it right here. But it is just a pressed like cream shadow base. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's like not jelly, but it's definitely a cream. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this and apply this all over my lid. The shadow has a really pretty like shimmer to it. Surprisingly, it doesn't have, I wouldn't say there's any fallout. Like the moment the shadow is pressed into the skin, it like melts into it, if that makes any sense. And once I have it packed on the lid, I'm just going to take the same brush that I'm using and I'm just going to run that back and forth into the crease. And that just kind of helps spread out some of the little glitter particles, just so that it doesn't look like a straight on cut crease. So now we have both eyes covered, and I think I want to add a wing line. I think for today, I'm going to go ahead and stick with just the regular black eyeliner. So I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm going to try to stay with a very, very thin wing liner. Don't have any promises though. So right off the bat, I can tell you that this applicator is super thin. So if you are the type of person that likes your wing liner to be like super sharp, this is definitely a drugstore liner that will do that for you. Did you guys see how effortless that wing was? Like it was very just like, this liner is really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and coat my lashes with mascara, and I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Active line. I mean, it's the double-ended one that comes with the brow gel on the opposite end. Now I'm just going to coat my top lashes, and then once I'm done with the face makeup, we're going to go ahead and come back and finish the eyes. And today I'm actually going to be trying for the first time the oil-free foundation. I'm sure that's not the name, but that's all it says on here. Oil-free SPF 15. And I'm going to be using the shade Porcelain. I feel like this will definitely work for me. The shade that they had above this looked too dark, and I want to say it was a little too orange. So we're going to go ahead and apply this, and hopefully it works. Wow. That has really good coverage. Wow, e.l.f. This is the first time I try this foundation, and so far I am impressed. Coverage is really nice, and it definitely looks like the shade Porcelain was my perfect match. So that's exciting. And I want to say this was a $6 foundation. I'm almost certain it was a $6 foundation. So this is really good for the price. So far, it does not look like it is going to oxidize. Now that we have our base down, everything is looking pretty good. Next, I'm going to be applying concealer, and this concealer is in the shade Fair. I used to have this complete coverage concealer, but in the lightest shade. I literally hit pan on it, so I know that was a really good concealer. I'm trying this one out for the first time today. It's definitely a little dark for what I normally like wearing under my eyes. But like I said, it is the shade Fair, so it's as light as it goes. I would definitely say this is more of a like concealer to do exactly that, like just conceal. It's not something that you can use to brighten. unless you are of deeper complexion. But for example, or for reference for you guys, I use the shade Porcelain, and I'm using the shade Fair in concealer. And I almost want to say the concealer is darker than the foundation. So keep that in mind if you are about my skin tone. Surprisingly, I'm not mad at it. It has really nice coverage as well. Do you guys see that? This is drugstore makeup, you guys. And not even drugstore. It's one of the most affordable brands at the drugstore. Wow. It's good. Okay, so I'm going to set... I have two different powders. I actually have their like HD powder. And then I picked up this Prime and Stay finishing powder. I'm going to try this one all over my face. And if it does not darken the rest of the foundation, then I might use it to set under the eyes as well. If not, I'll just go ahead and use the HD powder. And this is an e.l.f. kabuki brush. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap into it and go ahead and set everything in place. Oh, I forgot I was going to cream contour. Shoot. Oh well. It darkens the foundation just a tad bit, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and set my under eyes with it as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the Ultimate Blending Brush. It's a little smaller, it's still kind of big for under the eyes, but I'm just going to use that to pack the powder on. If you have normal to dry skin, you can get away with wearing the foundation without any powder. Once you add powder, or at least this one that I'm using, the Prime and Stay, it definitely mattifies the skin a lot. I wasn't really expecting that. And I apologize for not having every single brush be e.l.f. in this video. I didn't really think about that until after I got home, and I mean, as long as all of the makeup is e.l.f., we're good. Okay, so since I forgot to cream contour, I'm going to have to use the shade in the St. Lucia palette. I almost didn't want to do that because it has like glitter in it, but I'm going to have to, so let's see how that looks. Doesn't look too bad. And then from this same palette, I'm just going to go ahead and take the blush side. I'm going to be using one of their baked highlighters. This is in the shade Moonlight Pearls. If you have tried these highlighters, well, specifically their baked ones, and you feel like there's no pigment, you should definitely try scratching the top layer off. Once that layer is scratched off, I mean, it's a good highlight. A lot of people are like, no, you know, I shouldn't have to do that, and I get it. But it is also a very affordable highlighter. So, I mean, if you're balling on a budget and you don't mind taking 20 seconds to scrape off a layer, then you will definitely like this highlight. They have a variety of shades. This is just the one from the ones that I have tried, the one that has stayed in my collection. So now that our face is pretty much done, I'm going to go ahead and jump back into the eyes. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to be applying the plum shade that we put into our crease. I'm going to be adding that into the bottom lash line just to smoke that out a bit and tie the eyes together. It doesn't have a name, but it's just a white pencil, and it comes with like the lid that has the sharpener. I'm almost certain that this is part of their like $1 section. I'm having trouble having it stay on my waterline. It kind of tugs too much for my personal liking. So I would just say to skip on this line. If you're wearing darker shadow or something, you can always pick up some of the highlight that you have on your face and go ahead and apply that on the inner corners of your eyes, and that just opens up the eyes a little more, but it also ties everything together. Like, it just gives it that extra like pop. I'm going to go ahead and take the same mascara that I used on the top lashes, and I'm just going to run that on the bottom I did have some fallout on this liner, so I'm just going to very carefully reline it. And I also got powder or foundation or something on it, so. All we have left are the lips, and I'm going to introduce you to two glosses that I have been obsessing over from e.l.f. They are their plumping gloss, and the two shades that like just I have not been able to put down are in the shade Mocha Twist and Champagne Glam. So on my lips, I'm going to go ahead and take the Active Workout Ready Lip and Cheek palette, and I'm just going to take the shade right here, which is the second shade in the palette. I'm just going to apply that to my lips. So after that color, I am going to go ahead and apply some of the Mocha Twist gloss. To melt all the powders together, I'm going to be taking some of the post-workout cool down mist. I actually use this like a setting spray. Not only is the actual mist part like just super fine, but the stuff smells so freaking good. So that being said, I'm just going to bathe myself really quick and we'll be right back. So I almost forgot to set my brows, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the setting gel that was on the end of the mascara. And yeah, just make sure I set all my brow hairs in place. I love how small this little brush is. It reminds me of that one mascara that they have. They have a mascara. It comes in their silver packaging, and it's literally this exact wand. I was obsessed, and when I say obsessed, I mean obsessed with that mascara not too long ago. I am so happy I was able to film this video for you guys. I did want to show you that you do not have to break the bank on makeup products in order for your makeup to look good. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Besitos.